Hello folks, welcome to another Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. Well, today looks a little bit different than just the last recent days. It seems that the price wants to retrace. We need to see how far. I have tweeted. We had in my last check a big gamma wall at 21k, and as many of you know, a gamma wall, a big one, is usually, it depends. If the price is below, it works as a resistance. If the price is above, it works as a support, and we break it. Really crazy, to be honest. I wasn't wasn't expecting it, and at the moment, as you can see, we are right on the way to the downside. We will liquidate a lot of longs because this market is overlonged, absolutely overlonged. So many people were spreading crap related to shorts and indicating the market was extremely overshorted. That was absolutely wrong. Every time when we retraced a little bit, we liquidated a lot of longs, even the price maintained bullish. So the tendency was up, just retraced a little bit, and yes, we liquidated shorts, but a lot of longs at the same time. Now imagine if we start to go down hard, hitting 19k, they will liquidate a lot of shorts, of longs. So however, we are still in the box, and after they tried to break 21,400, and you see we had several times I had to adjust a little bit the box because it's a process also here just to see where we are getting the biggest sell pressure, and it was at 21,400. So usually we are getting buy pressure at 20,600, and you can see how the price is declining faster because they are liquidating all these longs right now. And we will see how far they want to get to go, because with such a big gamma wall at 21k, now we have again a big resistance at 21k. So we will see if we can maintain the 20,600 or if we are going even more low. Just to remind you, we still have the CME gap, and to close the CME gap, we need to go down to 19,550. So we will see. Once again, as mentioned, we went here down, and bulls are now, of course, buying here because that's where we have our support area, and we need to see if we can break this one, because otherwise we will go directly to 20k. We should make such kind of break at 20,300, then go down more to 20k, and so on and so forth. That's usually what I would expect under the current conditions, but the market will tell us, I guess, more in detail what's happening here. So let us go and talk a little bit about what happened today related to the data. The data is indicating that energy is in favor of the Fed monetary policy. Why? Because energy was last year one of the main driver of the inflation. Energy prices declined, so the inflation is declining as well, but we have more different inflation drivers. We don't have only energy, and that's what many people are just forgetting. We have food inflation, we have import inflation, we have energy inflation, we have services inflation, we have manufacturing inflation, of course related to the import inflation many times, and so on and so forth. So what does that mean? Well, only because energy goes down, and I mean, you can avoid, as I used one time in my example, you can avoid to use your car maybe, and maybe even share your ride with your neighbors, for example, just to save fuel or energy in general. Even at home, you can optimize your heater at home just to reduce the spendings for your energy. That's not possible, almost not possible with food. And sometimes it's also not possible with services, and so on and so forth. So also the US need to import raw materials because you will not find everything in the US. So it's obvious that such kind of inflation factors will maintain. And that's what we are seeing at the moment. While the energy price is, as I mentioned several times in the past, on thin ice, because the whole crude oil business right now in the US, when it comes to fill their crude oil inventories and so on and so forth, they are demanding and buying crude oil from Venezuela. And I have mentioned that Venezuela and US are not friends at all. Absolutely not. And so Venezuela don't trust the US don't trust Venezuela, and Venezuela is just using the US demand because China, it's bigger demander and buyer of Venezuela's crude oil because of their zero COVID policy. They had less demand. So of course, this lack of demand created by China is right now covering the US. Right now, while China is expecting or have announced to open their industry, their economy again, and that means that Venezuela, of course, is not going to take any risk if it's not required. Means they trust China much more. It's an ally. So of course they will say, thank you very much, US, for playing with me, but now I will sell all my crude oil back to China. While Saudi Arabia, just mentioned and announced yesterday, they are open right now to sell their crude oil in other currencies instead of USD only. That's not just a problem for the USD because it's going to make the USD weak, of course. Some people will say, bah, that's bullish. No, it's not, because import inflation. I mean, if China at the moment, some people said, well, or one follower said, but, China is just producing cheap goods, so it doesn't matter that much. They are in a transition right now. I mean, they are in nanotechnology making a big progress. And that means that also the US, if Taiwan is, for example, going to fail in the future, they need any other suppliers. And that means maybe also China. So it's not that easy, the situation right now, and it's absolutely not bullish what's happening. Absolutely not. I mean, you remember when I said, well, when customers start to spend less money, then we will see big problems, because that also means less earnings for companies. That means companies that will even reduce their staff even more than just in 2022, and so on and so forth. Now many will say, but even that is bullish because of pivot. No, it's not. It is not. It is not. If the demand of US dollar is going to decline, and one of the biggest demand created for the US dollar was the petrodollar, and we are seeing that the petro industry is flipping. They don't care about the US dollar anymore. So that means even if they start to print again, to pivot like many are yelling since months, that will push the inflation in the US so much more. So it doesn't make any sense to do it. It doesn't make any sense. The only sense that that in my opinion would be on the table is to reduce the interest rates decisions, or even to break it, so to stop it, to reduce the circulating USD supply, but not to rise more the interest rates. That would be something where I say that would make sense for the Fed to do it, but to pivot, so just to print US dollars again while the global demand for US dollar is declining doesn't make any sense. Absolutely not, because of course that means more supply in the US economy, and that means at the same time that the inflation will go up. So it doesn't make any sense to do it. And so, yeah, they are in a trap at the moment, and not only the US, also Europe. The only difference where I see is that Europe is part of a long-term strategy for China, and the US isn't. Not yet. Maybe also that will change, but the Silk Road, for example, is the long-term strategy of China, and as you know, it's part of Europe as well, even Italy and some other countries. So that's something we should have in mind when we are going to talk about inflation, Fed, and so on and so forth. I will try to make a try. Because some of you, and I can understand that, some of you are demanding shorter videos. The problem I have, if I do shorter videos, means without less interpretation comments by Inspo, so also less information, background information, why the price or why this indicator is doing what it's doing, only showing you a data and making some tiny or small comments and to go over to the next chapter. I think then we can save at least 30 to 40% of the whole video length. I will try it today. And then give me feedback if that's going to work for you. Because what I want to avoid, and that was the reason why I mainly was doing longer videos, is that you are learning. You have a higher learning curve. That was the main goal behind. So give me feedback. If you say that works for you, okay. Then we will try it for longer. But as soon as I are noticing, I'm getting a lot of questions, because that's what happened in the past. I received bombs of questions. Then I need to make the videos longer. Because with Phoenicia, and I know it was very quiet related to Phoenicia, and we are delaying right now a little bit the Phoenicia website, private problems, and so on and so forth, but it will come this month. With Phoenicia and Phoenicia Academy, so the education part of Phoenicia, everything will change, because I will explain in tutorial videos the indicators, bringing you some examples and so on and so forth. And every person that makes any question, basic questions about any indicators, I will just send him the link to the tutorial videos, but I'm not going to reply anymore. Just to make it clear. But at the moment, we don't have the platform activated. It will happen in January, as mentioned. The website was expected for end of the year, and now we have mid of January. But in January, we will release and launch the website, the hub website, and we will release and launch the education and academy at least, and that's the part of the roadmap, end of March. So a lot of things will happen in 2023. I will mention it. The Phoenicia website and social media will be active very soon, and if you want to read and to know more about the roadmap, you can visit the website soon, and I will also share informations over the Phoenicia Twitter account. I think we will have more accounts, not only on Twitter, also on YouTube, for example. But I will look for stuff to cover all these kind of works, because I can't handle it, and so on and so forth. So let's do it and go to the market analysis. So let us take a look what the market is doing. Well, the weights ratio was doing exactly the same like the Bitcoin price. That's something really interesting, because it maintained that high level, and I'm still expecting to see a bounce, so to start to go down. But it's not happening. It's still waiting there. And once again, we are still in a very, I would say bullish situation related to the weights ratio, because since mid of October, it's lifting up more and more and more. Every time when it bounces, it's doing higher lows. While, of course, at the same time, we can see that if the trend is right, we should go up once again, hitting 70, indicating we should go up a little bit more. So everything indicating we are not done. We will go even more up, and that's also indicating that we are not done with the whole preparation. And so I don't know what to expect, but the weights ratio 30 days moving average was so bearish since mid of December. And usually when it starts to decline, it's where they start to unload their positions. Well, let us go forward and check what's happening here. We can see that the weights ratio 30 hours moving average. If we take a look, for example, here, it's on the other side, indicating that the range where it's moving, it's going tiny, tiny, and tiny, and tiny, indicating usually everything above of 90. It's indicating, wow, we will see a big, big, big dump. It's not happening. It's much more indicating we're distributing, and while they try to allow the price to go up and afterwards to unload, pure distribution, what we can see here. And in the recent time, they even touched the 100%, something that the last time we have seen that was here in the beginning of the year, before we went down. And even here, for example, also the same case. So related to the weights ratio 30 hours moving average, nothing looked like a big, big dump. Bitcoin right now, it's on its support area and retesting it. It seems if we break this one, and I mean 20,500 would be the maximum. If we break this one, we will go to 20,000. But as mentioned also before, I would expect, for example, at 20,300 to not to bounce directly there, but to maintain there, then go down even more, hitting 20k, and then we need to see. I would expect from 20k go up back to 20,500, retest. Only if we break this 20,500, we go down to 20k and retest it. That's extremely bearish if we fail their retest, just to make it clear. So, however, we can see that the stablecoin reserves on centralized exchanges, and I'm talking about spot, it's negative. So, I tweeted about, the whole thing about BUSD, and that BUSD trades were extremely bullish while on Binance, while USDT trades on Binance were extremely bearish. And now it seems that both is coming cooling down, and it seems they are just unloading a little bit for the next dip, I guess. And then we need to see how far we will fall. So let us go to the next chapter. I see the net flow. They are taking out a lot of bitcoins right now from the exchanges. Right now it seems another 3,500 bitcoins. So everything what they bought the way up, they are taking out right now from the exchanges, it seems. So yes, as just mentioned a few seconds ago, that's what we can see. Let me check here, for example, that's the stablecoin net flow. And what we see is that was yesterday evening. We had here a bigger outflow of 5,600 bitcoins, another 2,000 bitcoins before, so we can talk about 7,600 bitcoins. Then this morning another 2,640 bitcoins, and right now happening another 5,000 bitcoins. So it seems that they distributed all that. They are taking out now all these bitcoins here. At the same time, right now we are getting another 1,800 bitcoins. We have a bigger, or at least related to net flow, we can see they are cashing out. So it's red, indicating that they are taking out more stablecoins than just sending to them. But I was also noticing once again USDC treasury sending money to Binance, to Coinbase, then coming back. I don't know what Circle is doing, but it looks so fishy what they are doing, because it doesn't make any sense to me. However, that's it also from here. Let us go to the next one. So we see funding rate was extremely high when we reached that level at 21,000. Since then, they started to demand more shorts, more shorts, more shorts. Open interest was doing exactly the opposite and is declining. The leverage ratio doing exactly the same. We have a lack of data here, but it seems it's also declining, while stablecoin reserves on derivative exchanges also declining, also indicating they are taking profit and taking out stablecoins from derivative exchanges. So if we take a look and we start to reduce our to zoom out our time frame, we see that we were in a very positive funding rate trend, and it's still there. So it didn't break the trend. So in case we break this one, we will go. It's indicating then that they are demanding much more shorts than expected, and then we need to be extremely careful with any kind of volatility. But at the moment, not happening, as you can see. So let us take a look further. We see here, that's also the net flow. We can see here they are taking profit. I mean, 400 millions here, and then we had a net flow of 186 millions, another 187 millions, and right now also 180 millions outflow, so negative net flow. The net flow is indicating here that future traders are mainly taking profit at the moment. So then we have also here the net flow related to Bitcoin and derivative exchanges. If we check this one, for example, also here we can see bigger outflows related to Bitcoins out of derivative exchanges. It started relatively early. So when they crossed the price of 19,000. Now we had here the first almost 4,900 bitcoins outflows from derivative exchanges. Then afterwards another 2,600. And yesterday night was another 4,400. At the moment, we received 3,000 bitcoins. And one analyst, IT Tech, just mentioned it seems that a miner sent bitcoins to derivative exchanges, I guess, or to futures. I'm not sure. No, that's futures, of course, not to yeah. So derivative exchanges. I'm sorry, it was a little bit chaos in my mind right now. They sent to future markets 3,000 bitcoins. It seems to use them as collateral for their future positions. I also guess just as a hedge because they were selling a lot of bitcoins. The big question is if they were just hedging or if they are shorting because they knew we are going down afterwards. Also possible. But the big question is, how did these guys know it? So because they sent almost 8,000 bitcoins, and really, I mean, 3 days, 4 days, they distributed almost 8,000 bitcoins. And then afterwards, they sent another 3,000 bitcoins to derivative exchanges. That looks a little bit strange to me, to be honest. However, let us go forward. So what we see here is yesterday we had 1,280 bitcoins short liquidation and 826 bitcoins. It was volatile yesterday. No, the day even before. Yeah, yesterday. Wait, today is 18th. Why it doesn't appear here? Oh, well, yeah, it makes sense. So, I mean, 1,300 to 800 bitcoins, while the price was lifting up more. Also indicating and signaling that the whole market is overlonged with high leverage. Yesterday, we had almost the same 600 bitcoins in shorts liquidated, 570 bitcoins in longs liquidated. If you check the chart also here, you will notice we didn't dump or something. So also here indicating high leverage positions were just liquidated on both sides, shorts and longs. That's Binance. Also here, let us just try. Okay. So we can see on Binance at least, we can see here that nothing happened. I mean, they are still demanding a little bit more longs, but nothing big. While the open interest reached a level, it's above of December, but still extremely lower than in October. We were here in October, for example, and we are right now in September levels. That's what we can see right now here. So September and even August. Then we went up, and now, it's pushing up. And every time when it pushed up very hard, we had such kind of volatility. So I think volatility will come back to the market, and we need to see how the whole thing will end. Open interest lifting up, leverage ratio also lifting up, but less, and that's really interesting, than the open interest, indicating that traders are using less leverage. So let us take a look. We still have 43 to 57 still in favor of shorts, almost 1.2 billions in shorts and 900 millions in longs. However, a lot of longs still there. On Bitfinex, nothing have changed. And on Ethereum, 46 to 53, also here, indicating we have more shorts positions in volume, but it's not the same like 70 to 30 like we had when we went up, right? So let us take a look what the Kingfisher is doing here. We will check first. Yeah. So if we take a look here, for example, we have 210 million potentially liquidations if the bar goes that up. So the biggest bar here is right now with 195 millions liquidation cluster at 17k. So if we go back to 17k, we will liquidate all of them in case of. Otherwise, if they are looking for easy liquidations close to the current price, then it would make more sense to go a little bit more up, hitting 23k, than, for example, this kind of, I guess, we will check right now with a high liquidation map, but of course it should be more in favor of the shorts than of the longs, in my opinion. However, 17k is, it seems, where we loaded our ready ammo, and so it's absolutely possible to go down back to 17k to load there again. But yeah, we need to check. I mean, let us see what's going to happen at 19.2, because that's the main POG area. If we maintain there and get rejected, then I would be extremely careful, because then it's going to confirm that we can go even more up, hitting 25, for example, 23, 25. So I would be extremely careful there. 19.2, where we didn't retest it yet, is required to retest and to check what's going to happen next. Now let us check as the last point here, the high leverage one. Wow. And the high leverage is between 21,500 and 21,600. So yeah, at the moment it seems a lot of people, well, a lot it's not, but many we don't have high leverage longs. That's not possible. Well, okay, we are done here. So let us talk about who is driving the market, who is scamming right now. Let us take a look who is scamming, because I don't know. I'm such a crypto fan, and I wasn't before. I wasn't before of 2020. I remember all the discussions with my clients telling me crypto is scam, crypto is fraud, it's just money laundering, it's trash. And then I joined in 2020, and I was so, spending a lot of time reading and making. But if I take a look what they are doing with this market, I need to say we really deserve to crash to zero, because the only thing that will allow us to have a strong market in the future is when all these toxic criminals involved in this market will disappear. And I'm talking about at least 60% of all owners of centralized exchanges, stable coins, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, it hurts to me to say that, but I'm so pissed when I see what they are doing with the market. Just pushing up with stable coin futures while they are unloading. That's what they are doing. And that's just wow. I'm not trading. I don't care what the price is going to do, but taking into account what they are doing right now, we really deserve it. Anyway, so aggregated CBD, BUSD, BUSD, everything else disengaged just to check what Binance is doing. And Binance, as you can see right now, they are supporting the future market with BUSD at the moment, so pushing a little bit more up, while USDT just unloading. That's what they are doing. Unloading, unloading, unloading. But no, that's not new. I mean, take a look what they are doing. That's wow. That's really crazy. That's really crazy what they are doing. So on Binance, everything looks like they want to unload, while they are using, not Binance in general, they are using futures once again to push up. If we take a look to Bitfinex, it looks at least similar. We have here the aggregated one. We can see that the aggregated one just dumped very hard. I mean, just in a few hours, in 2 hours, just almost 8,000 Bitcoins. That's crazy. That's really crazy. But we have futures. Why not? So Bitfinex, let us take a look what Kraken is doing. Kraken also unloading, not big at all. If we check the aggregated, they are still unloading. If we take a look, for example, here, Bybit, Bybit started to unload very quick, as we remember, and they are reaching levels before the price went up. Not bad. I would say almost optimal. If we take a look, for example, on Coinbase also unloading very hard here. So 4,800 Bitcoins before, 1,500 Bitcoins in 2 hours. Not bad. Bitstamp, well, Bitstamp not doing anything, just unloading a little bit, 300 Bitcoins, but they are buying more. And if we take a look to Gemini, I was saying Gimini all the time, but it's Gemini, and Gemini also unloading. I mean, they distributed early, then they bought again, and they are selling once again. So that's what's happening here. Now let us take a look what entities are telling us. Retailers reducing their balances, nothing big. These guys here reducing their balances, also nothing big. These guys here reducing their balances, also nothing big. These guys here reducing their balances, nothing big. Market maker entities, wow, going up? How is that possible? Well, yeah, that was the same question I did today. And then I spent some time checking what's happening. That's something we will talk just in a few seconds. These guys here reducing more their balances. How it's possible that those one, the market maker entity, the most bearish entity, is declining more their balances, while, for example, these guys here are going down? I can show you. This is the same chart, only with count of wallets per entity. Means market maker entities are getting more wallets from these guys here. So you can see that these guys are declining, while the market maker entity is lifting up. Means these guys here, 80% of them are just linked to centralized exchanges. Doesn't mean that everyone is related to centralized exchanges. Some of them are really big waves. And they are unloading, means they are selling, and selling more, so that their balance has less than 10,000 Bitcoins, and that's why they are shifting to the market maker entities. But at the same time, not indicating that they are buying. That explains why we are getting more Bitcoins on market maker entity balances, but doesn't mean they are buying. So, and that's absolutely it. You can see, for example, even these guys here reducing and count of wallets. If we go here, for example, even this guy is doing the same. Retailers maintaining, and even this guy is reducing. So it seems some people are selling at the moment. I mean, yeah, why not here? Let us go forward. The market maker entity sent 3,000 bitcoins just this morning. If we take a look, the Bitcoin reserves on centralized exchanges declining. I mentioned that they had bigger outflows today and yesterday. Market spot market activity is declining more. Also, future trading. OTCs very active. They started, and it seems with centralized exchanges, and that's something that usually has the stamp of the market maker. They're using OTC centralized exchanges and also futures, for example, to dump the market. And as you see, it correlates very well to the price action because afterwards it started to dump. Then Coinbase and Binance pushed up once again. Coinbase with spot, I guess, and Binance with futures. At least that would make some sense. If we check here, for example, we can also see that miners were selling, as mentioned. And just today they sent 1,500 bitcoins, it seems, to derivative exchanges. Yesterday, 3,500 bitcoins. And just a few days ago, 5,000 bitcoins. You can see how their reserves starts to decline again at 21k. Something they did just always before, and afterwards we started to dump. It seems that's happening again. So let us take a look. As mentioned, on Coinbase we have, it seems, maybe it makes sense to go to the 1 day time frame. Yeah. Okay. So on Coinbase we have the main POC at 16.8 and our 19,200. That would be where I said we need to go down to 19,200 just to confirm that's really bullish and a valid bullish trend. Something we missed before, so that's something we need to see now. Otherwise, if we are going to break the 19.2 again, we should go hitting 17k afterwards. We have a big wall at 25k and the next bigger wall to the downside at 15k. So between 15 and 25, that's our trade range. At least we have some protections. You can see here we have some orders waiting, mainly here at 19.5, for example, at 20k. Yeah, and otherwise everything below of 16.5. Bitstamp. So first of all, spot, only spot. On Bitstamp, we have here some walls at 25 as well, but nothing big. Otherwise here at 19.5 and 20k. They removed a lot of liquidity to the downside, but everything below 15k is well protected. At least below 14k, it's going to be hard to absorb all of them, I guess. Let us go directly to Binance, BTC USDT. In such case, we don't have anything big to the upside. They have started to bring some liquidity back to the downside. For example, here 11, also here at 15.5. And yeah, that's mainly it. We still have a 22k, for example, here wall, and also protecting 19.5, also protecting 20k at the moment, and even 18k. But yeah, it seems they triggered all sell orders on Binance BTC USDT. Now we are checking BTC BUSD on Binance. It looks a little bit different because we have a 25K like Coinbase, Strange, and Bitstamp. A wall here, we have another one at 20,600, 23K for example, but also here well protected at 20K, even here 20,340 and 19.2. But also here, also very interesting, they it seems, for example here, I'm not sure. No. It was looking like no. They also remove liquidity to the downside. However, everything below 14.5 until 11,000 is still well protected. Bitfinex spot. Bitfinex not indicating anything. Also, these guys sold a lot, and 19,000 would be the next level to by Bitfinex. 18K, 73, and 15.8. Then we have the last protection at 15K, and that's it. On the other side, 26.2, and that's it. Also to the upside, nothing big. OKEX spot, nothing happening. The most interesting part here is they are protecting above. So it seems they are pushing everything above of 21K is well protected on OKEX. OKEX swap, as you know, it's 17K. So I guess they want to see the price at 17K. Also here on Kraken spot 19.5 and 18.6 well protected, otherwise 21K like on Binance BTC USDT. BTC USD Bybit, for example, also here it seems they're protecting right now more 21.1 for example, so pushing the price more down. If you want to go up, you need to absorb my bitcoins. That's what they are telling us. Here on Bybit, BTC USDT, nothing. Bitmap, BTC USD, bringing back some liquidity at 15.6, 14.8, 14, and 13.6, while at the same time waiting at 28, 26.4, around 23.8, 22.3, and that's it. Also here some orders to to get triggered. Binance futures. So now we are going to Binance futures. BTC USDT, for example, we can see everything above of 25K is, it seems, well protected. The question is that well protected, or are these guys just waiting to get triggered and to short from 25K? So it is possible to go to 19,200, 25, and then go even more down, or retrace and go even more higher. That's something we need to see, but as mentioned so many times, we didn't retest 19.2, and that's something we need. They removed all the liquidity here at 6 and 7,000. That makes sense. I don't see any kind of big long orders here, only very close to the current price until 19,500. Everything else is more to the upside. Bitfinex derivatives, they want to long at 13.8. It's the only big futures order. Kraken is waiting at 10,100 or 10,500. Otherwise 22, yeah, but nothing big. OKEX futures waiting also at 25K, so we are talking about 25, 25, 25, 25. I guess we need to go to 19.2 to go to 25, and then we need to see what's going to happen next. Just to make clear, if we go down to 19.2 and we get rejected there, I will go long. Just to tell it. Because then it's solid, then it's really a valid and solid move. Only then. If not, I don't care. They can go from here directly to 25k. I will not trade it. So go back. OKEX futures. Also, just I mentioned 25. Deribit perpetual, for example. Wow, Deribit will still waiting at 28. Otherwise, they are waiting at 22,200 and a lot of long orders between 20,700 and 17,000. It seems by they removed all the orders at 13.6 to 14. And that's it. Yeah, that's it.